Hey Connor, where are we?
Another regions.
Stop! No, no. We're in
Nord Holland.
We're in
Nord Holland.
Hello. We are in Amsterdam. Surprise! Whoa. Okay, yeah, we're not quite in Amsterdam. We're like on the outskirts of Amsterdam, but we're gonna be in Amsterdam. We're gonna be in the Netherlands for 2 weeks. 4 days out of those 2 weeks, we're actually gonna be in Venice, Italy. We're gonna be popping over there. But yeah, we are here. First international travel experience, which is super exciting. We are currently going on 36 hours straight of maybe a collective 2 hours of sleep between the two of us within that 36 hours. So we are exhausted. I meant to start this vlog before we even left, and I got too nervous and didn't even think about it. I was just nervous about traveling and everything, and then now we're here. Now we're here. We arrived here a couple hours ago. Then we found a dinner spot, walked over there. It was in Hoofddorp. Hoofddorp?
Hoofddorp?
Hoofddorp. No. Yes. I'll put the spelling on the screen. Again, less severe lack of sleep. Quick update on kind of like, I figure since, you know, this is a reading vlog, or this is a reading book channel, I did get through 2 pretty short books during like our whole travel time. I read the novella Mystery of Thorn Manor. It's kind of the novella sequel to Sorcerer of Thorns, which is by Margaret Rogerson, who's my favorite kind of young adult fantasy writer, and then that was really fun, super cute, love the characters of course, so I was happy to kind of see another little adventure of theirs. Again, she's just super good at writing, very fun character dynamics and interactions, dialogue is always fun, and then just kind of that old fairy tale feel is really fun. And then I listened to a really short audiobook, it's about 6 hours long. I think it's called From Here to Eternity. Again, I'll put the picture on the screen. It's a nonfiction audiobook comparing like the Western funeral industry and like our views on death and how like sterilized and detached we are and kind of like scared of death we are, which makes sense. Like I'm right there with, you know, I'm included in that. And then comparing it to kind of other cultures around the world and how they have a much more familiar and comfortable interaction with death and kind of their different like death and funeral rituals. And it was super fascinating. Again, it's another one of those kind of like morbid niche topics that I think if you're looking for something like that, I do recommend it. I think that it was really good. I wish it was longer, but for what she did cover, I think the 6 hours was definitely like a good length. I just wish that more kind of cultures were covered. We could have gotten into several more, but yeah, that was really good. So that's kind of what I read on our entire trip all the way over here. Tomorrow we've got some adventures. We're going to the Anne Frank house in the morning, and then the Cube Market in the afternoon, and possibly one other thing. I think we had just kind of like wandering around that general area. We're keeping our schedule pretty loose. We usually have, I think we have we have like one thing scheduled every day in the morning and one thing scheduled every day in the afternoon. But keeping it pretty loose outside of that, just because we don't know what's gonna come up. But yeah, that is my intro. I'm exhausted, gonna go take a shower and then finally get some sleep, and we'll check in tomorrow. impressions of Amsterdam, go.
Cheap espresso here is way better than all the overpriced espresso in the United States. $2 for an espresso here is equivalent to like a $6 espresso shot in the United States.
And it's even better than the expensive espresso. My first impressions. Public transportation is just at its peak, and it's beautiful, and I love it. Next impression, the bikes are just insane. I swear, if I hear somebody call Madison the bike capital of anything, I'm gonna just lose it, because Madison's got absolutely nothing on Amsterdam. There are so many bikes. It's actually a bit chaotic and a bit scary how many bikes there are. Now, there are like designated bike lanes that are like not just on the side of the road. There's like actual dividers that separate the bikes from like both pedestrians, kind of, but mostly like the cars and everything, so makes it really safe. And nobody here wears helmets, but that's because we had it explained to us that like biking here is way safer than like anywhere else. Because they have like those dividers for between like the cars and everything. But anyway, absolutely insane how many bikes there are, and just how many people are taking public transportation, how frequent public transportation comes through. The tram was every 7 minutes, and then the bus that we had to take to get back to our hotel in Hoofddorp was every 8 minutes. Absolutely nuts. So kind of now actually talking about what we did. First, today we got up. Our hotel doesn't have like continental or complimentary breakfast or anything like that, so we did we have to like pay for it on top of our hotel, and it's kind of expensive, so we just went to like a bakery, got some coffee and like a pastry that was near the Anne Frank house, which was the first thing that we did today. And I knew it was gonna be a really difficult museum to go through, and like really like hard hitting, but holy moly, like I was like, it's gonna be hard, and I say I'm gonna cry, but I bet you I cannot cry. Nope, I cried. It was hard. It was very impressive with how they have just like recreated as much as they could and kept the integrity of like the building and everything. It was really, really impressive. We were not allowed to take any photos or videos, so that's why I don't have any shots of it outside of just the little sign of the outside. But yeah, and honestly, I don't think I'd want to take any photos and videos, just because it is like it really forced you to like experience it and look at everything. But it was really impressive. And then after that, we went to Amsterdam Central, which is like their central tram station, because we needed to figure out what we were doing with public transportation, since that was our plan, like of our mode of getting around. That was really cool, actually, to look at. We got that figured out. We grabbed lunch in there, because there's a bunch of stores and restaurants in there, so we grabbed lunch. And then we went to the Heineken experience. So I'm gonna say right now, I personally think it's something that you can probably pass on. I know it's like Heineken is a huge part of like the Netherlands and Amsterdam. However, I've been on like 1 or 2 other brewery tours in the US, and compared to how like educational and like really walking you through like the process and everything those tours are compared to the Heineken experience, like yes, they kind of walk you through like the history and everything, but it felt a lot more like one giant advertisement, which I get is like part of what it's supposed to be, but it almost felt like it was really good. It'd be really good for like people who are big on Instagram to like have like a bunch of really cool like Instagram shots. It was cool. It was very entertaining. You know, entertainment factor, it just wasn't what I was wanting out of it. So I think if you're going for like a fun kind of entertainment factor thing, I think it's cool. It just wasn't quite for me. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And I'm glad we did go because we would have never known otherwise, and it wasn't horrible. It was just not what I was hoping it to be. And then after that we went to the Cute Market, which was like a farmer's market that they just have, I think, like every day. And that was cool. Lots of like non-produce shops, kind of like clothing and jewelry shops. I was hoping there was gonna be like maybe some art shops, but there weren't. But that's okay. We had really good stroopwafel there. And then what did we do after that? Oh, we just kind of like wandered around a little bit after that. We got through things way faster than what we thought we were going to today. And so we just kind of wandered after that. And then we came back to the hotel because we weren't hungry, with the intention of like, oh, we'll maybe hang out for 20 minutes and then head into like kind of the central part of Hoofddorp and then grab food there, and then I fell asleep. And so we got going a little late. We did, however, get to officially bike in the Netherlands. Our hotel has bikes that you can rent. So to get to where the restaurant we wanted to go to is gonna be like a half an hour walk, and I was really not feeling like walking anymore. My feet have been really hurting today, so we decided to rent a bike. I refused to bike in Amsterdam because that place is a madhouse and scary, and I'm not experienced enough. It's organized, it's very organized, but you have to be like a very experienced biker and kind of like comfortable with that as your like mode of commuting to be able to successfully do it in Amsterdam. So I won't do it in Amsterdam, but we did it here in Hoofddorp, and it was wonderful. It was fun. We're happy that we got to kind of check that off of our box of things that we got to do and experience. So that was fun. We didn't go to the restaurant that we wanted to go to. The restaurants here close earlier than kind of what we're used to, and so kitchens were already closing. So we ended up going to kind of like just a bar food place that had food that was open late. It was still very good. Our waiter was super nice, and I had a really good drink there. Connor had a really good beer. Both my drink and his beer were recommended by the waiter, and it was a successful recommendation. But yeah, that was what we did today. Tomorrow is the Van Gogh Museum, which I'm super excited for, and the Rick Museum. So I will check in with you after we do those things. again. It's the end of our second full day in Amsterdam. Like I said in my last update, we were planning on going to the Van Gogh Museum, and I called it the Rijksmuseum in my last update. I had, leading up to that, I had always called it the Rijksmuseum, and then I had second guessed how I was supposed to pronounce it, called it the Rijksmuseum. It is the Rijksmuseum. But we went to that in the afternoon. We ended up grabbing breakfast right near the museum. There's this fun little like set of like kind of food stands, and one of them had waffles with a bunch of toppings that you could get, and then coffee. So we grabbed that and then went to the Van Gogh Museum. That was absolutely wonderful. It was very crowded. I think Connor and I accidentally bought tickets to tour kind of at the wrong time, where there was just a bunch of like tour groups, it felt like, as opposed to just like individual people. Like obviously it was going to be busy, the tickets sell out pretty fast, but there was a bunch of like tour groups during the time that we went, but it's okay. It was still really, really amazing. I got to see two out of like the 4 paintings that I really, really wanted to see. I got to see one of his sunflower paintings, and then the skeleton smoking a cigarette, which I really like. And then we just missed the exhibit that had the almond blossom paintings. That unfortunately they just closed that exhibit right before, like maybe like literally days, maybe a day or two before we even arrived in Amsterdam. And then Starry Night is in New York City, not here, which nothing we can do about there. But it was very, very wonderful. You know, just kind of, they set it up so that you basically walked through his entire artistic career, and kind of watched the progression of his artwork, and it was very wonderful and I loved it. And then we went to lunch, and we didn't really eat like a lunch. We kind of just grabbed like a snack at Mannequin Piss, which is this like famous kind of chain in the Netherlands, where it's you get like a cone of French fries with like a whole bunch of different toppings. You can like dipping sauces and stuff. But what's funny is all of the sauces, and I wanted to get a clip of like the sauce pumps. They all have on the top of them this little kid peeing, like on the pump. And I got too nervous to take a picture of the pumps back where they were working, but you could see them and it was kind of funny. And then we went to the Rijksmuseum, which is kind of the Netherlands, the Dutch art museum. That thing was huge. We saw online that you could do it in like 2 hours, and so we were anticipating that. Like that was our plan, was to do it in 2 hours, do it in an afternoon, maybe more than 2 hours, but that's why we left, just like that was our afternoon plan. No. Whoever online like kind of was the official person that said, yeah, you can do this in 2 hours, was a liar. That thing is huge. That is like an all-day event. We got in at 2 and the museum closes at 5. So, you know, we thought that would be plenty of time. And then we got through the first half of the first floor. I think it took us an hour and a half, I think. And there's 4 floors. And when we finally like realized what time it was and our pacing, so we had to like hoof it through the rest of it to try to see as much as we could. I think we missed a good chunk of the Rembrandt stuff. And then I am kind of sad we didn't have tickets for the Vermeer exhibit. That was like a separate kind of special exhibit, and if we were able to see that, we could have seen the girl with the pearl earring, like that famous Dutch painting. But we saw so many other things that honestly I didn't care. It doesn't really matter, because there was so much. But yeah, that museum, you need like a whole day to actually go through and I feel like really take in everything. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of art, but it's a big museum, and I think it's a whole day kind of a thing. But it was really great, and I really enjoyed it. And then we went to dinner. We just kind of found a what I think we thought was gonna just be a European food place, but it was actually just Italian food, which was very good, and I really liked it. So we went to dinner and then we came back to the hotel because I was wore out for sure. I think Connor was tired. Okay, we weren't really sure what else we wanted to do, and we just kind of, I think, wanted to rest. So that was our day. It was a lot of fun. Next, tomorrow, we have Micropia, which is like this science museum for like microorganisms, possibly the zoo, possibly the Rembrandt house. We weren't able to get tickets ahead of time for the Rembrandt house. When we tried, like before we came, back when we were getting tickets from museums, it wouldn't, like the website wouldn't let us, so I'm not sure if we're gonna get to go through the Rembrandt house. So it's definitely Micropia. We'll be able to do that. Definitely probably able to do the zoo. If we can't do the Rembrandt house, I think we're gonna look for going to the botanical garden that is in Amsterdam. But that is our plan tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Hello again. So it is the end of our third full day in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, but particularly in Amsterdam. And we did a couple of things. We went to the Micropia, which is a museum, like a science museum about microorganisms, and then we went to the zoo, which we thought that the zoo was gonna just kind of like be next to the Micropia. It's actually like they're in the same, like you go through the same entrance for them when you buy both tickets at the same place. So they're like in, the Micropia is like in the very front of the zoo, which was pretty cool. We liked the Micropia. So they say that they are the only museum of their kind in the world. Connor doesn't believe them. I tend to just kind of believe what they tell me. So I mean, we both had a really good time. It was really cool, really fun, very interactive. Kind of unsettling at times to remember that you've got, you know, hundreds upon thousands upon millions of microorganisms just crawling all over you at all times. Both of us, both me and Connor, kind of agreed that, weirdly enough, it felt like there was simultaneously more and less than what we expected. And I don't really know how to explain what I mean by that. But we had a great time with it. We thought it was really cool. And then we went to the zoo right after that because it's, you know, Micropia is like right in the zoo. And that was very fun. Connor and I, anytime we go somewhere, we always try to make a stop at the closest zoo, because we love zoos. I think that's kind of like one of our favorite like date things to do, is to go to the zoo, and so that was really fun. Poor Connor didn't really get to see red pandas. Those are his favorite, and he kind of got to see one like in his little like hidey hole, but yeah, they were very elusive, hidden away today. We both found it very amusing that there was a raccoon and skunk enclosure, just because, you know, we see those things on the side of the road all the time in the Midwest, so in America, and so it's just kind of funny to see like a dedicated spot in the zoo here. That being said, I do know that like some zoos in the US have that as like, this is like local wildlife in an exhibit, but it was just kind of funny to see something that's so local and mundane for us in an exhibit in Europe. So that was fun. And then that took about 6 hours, 6.5 hours ish for both of those things. We were kind of trying to decide what else to do, because it was like 4:30. So I looked up where the nearest Waterstones was, and Waterstones is like basically, it feels like Europe's version of Barnes & Noble. And I've always wanted to go because, you know, we don't have any in the US, and every time I see like a booktuber or whatever talk about Waterstones, it always seems like it's better than Barnes & Noble. So I was very excited to stop at that, and of course I had to buy something. My plan actually coming here to the Netherlands, you know, I did want to pick up a book or two, and my plan was to get something that is Dutch, not in Dutch obviously because I can't read Dutch, but something that is like written by an author from the Netherlands, a Dutch author, and hopefully like my plan was to get something that's like kind of like, for lack of a better term, quintessentially Dutch, kind of like one of their staples. And I got 2 books. First, I got The Discovery of Heaven by Harry Mulisch. This is kind of considered a, I guess, like modern classic. It was written in like the 1990s. And I'm gonna read to you at the back. It says, on a cold night in Holland, 2 men meet and change each other's lives forever. Max Delius, a hedonistic yet brilliant astronomer who loves fast cars, nice clothes, and beautiful women, picks up Ono Quist, a cerebral, chaotic philologist who cannot bear the ordinariness of everyday life. Despite their differences, they fast become great friends, and when they learn that they were conceived on the same day, it is clear that their meaning is no coincidence. As the pair fall into and out of love with the same woman, Ada, so their lives become further entwined, for all three are on a mysterious journey destined to shape human history. The Discovery of Heaven is internationally recognized as a masterpiece, rich in philosophical, psychological, historical, and theological inquiry. It is an extravagant, bold, and satisfying novel of ideas. I think there's supposed to be like some magical realism in here, which is right up my alley, and I'm quite excited. It is very long. It doesn't look that long, but it's like 700 pages long. So there is that one. And then I also, oh, they stuck a little, I forgot about that, they stuck a little Waterstones Amsterdam bookmark in there, which is very exciting. It's got a quote from C.S. Lewis on the back. It says, "You can never get a cup of tea large enough or a book long enough to suit me." So that's fun. I'm excited about that. But then the other one that I got is The Discomfort of Evening by Marieke Lucas Rijneveld. And this was written in like 2020. It is the 2020 International Booker Prize winner. So it's like very critically acclaimed. And I have heard somebody else talk about, oh my goodness, I keep coming out of focus. I have heard other people talk about this one, like one or two other people talk about this one actually. And I've heard it's very like claustrophobic and very strange. So it says, 10-year-old Jess has a unique way of experiencing her universe. The feeling of utter ointment on her skin is protection against harsh farmyard winters. The texture of green warts like capers on migrating toads. The sound of blush words that aren't in the Bible. But when a tragic accident ruptures the family, her curiosity warps into a wild vortex of disturbing fantasies, unlocking a darkness that threatens to derail them all. Winner of the International Booker Prize 2020, Rijneveld's sensational debut novel is a world of language unlike any other, exquisitely captured in Michelle Hutchinson's translation. So yes, this one is translated by Michelle Hutchinson. This one is translated by, hold on, it doesn't say, oh, it might not have been translated, it might just have been, so it looks like this one was actually just originally written in English. This one was originally written in Dutch and translated by Michelle Hutchinson. So those are the two that I got at Waterstones in Amsterdam, which is very, very exciting. And then I forgot to show you a couple other things that I have picked up. When we went to the Anne Frank house, I did pick up this very kind of special edition of Anne Frank's diary. It comes in this slip cover that's kind of it's like a fabric slip cover. It's called the Definitive Edition. And if you pull the book out, it's obviously Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, the Definitive Edition, edited by Otto H. Frank, which is her father, and Miriam Pressler, and then introduced by Anne Frank's cousin, Buddy Elias. And so this is an English translation of Anne Frank's diary and kind of a special edition of it. And then that was it for books, but book related, when I went to the Van Gogh Museum, I did pick up two really pretty little metal bookmarks. This is with the sunflower, and it's got Vincent's like signature on it, if I can come into focus. There we go. And then I got one of the skeleton smoking a cigarette with Vincent's signature. And yeah, they're just really cute, and I was very excited about them. So anyway, that was a very long update. Tomorrow we are getting up at the butt crack of dawn, like 3 a.m. literally, because our flight to Italy, Venice, Italy, is at 7 in the morning. And then we're gonna spend about 4.5 days there and then come back to the Netherlands. And before anybody asks, well, why are you doing this in the middle of your trip? Why didn't you start in Italy or just end in Italy? That way you don't go to the Netherlands, Italy, then back to the Netherlands. I know. we know. We booked our flights to and back, like to the Netherlands and then back home, way before we really decided on where else in Europe we wanted to go. We like kind of had the idea that since we were going to be here for 2 weeks, that we wanted to go somewhere else, but we didn't really know where. So we just booked our flights and then we finally decided. So we just literally just dropped it in the middle of our trip. So tomorrow we're going over to Venice, Italy, and I think we're seeing the Doge's Palace, and I don't remember what the other thing is, but you will see, following this clip. We are in Italy. Specifically, we are in Venice. That's where we're going to be spending the next 3.5 days. Or we spent today, and then I guess the next 2.5 days. For a total of 3.5. I lied to you earlier. I think I said 4.5. That was a mistake. I meant 3.5. But we did get up bright and early at like 3:30 this morning to get here for our 7-hour flight. The Schiphol airport recommends you arrive about 2.5 hours before your flight. And I definitely agree. It just took a while to get through, particularly the check-in part. Security didn't take that terribly long, but check-in took a while. It's just a long line. And I can imagine that if it was kind of a busier time, maybe a little later in the morning, you would definitely need that full 2.5 hours. But we got here, and then we had a bit of a debacle, fiasco, whatever you want to call it, with figuring out public transportation. We knew that kind of that's what we wanted to do, and especially because you almost have to when you want to get like really down in some of the areas. There's no cars there, and so you get like ferried around and stuff. We kind of messed up in a couple places. Then we got to our hotel because we needed to drop our suitcase off. And real quick, I will show you our view. This is our hotel view. So there's, you know, the parking lot, but then past that is quite gorgeous. And then another hotel next door. So that's our view for the hotel that we're at. Yeah, so we got here, dropped our stuff off. We had to we were supposed to go to St. Mark's Basilica. That was supposed to be in St. Mark's Square. That was supposed to be kind of the first thing that we had planned, first thing we had tickets for, and unfortunately, we were running very behind, just with kind of figuring out things with the hotel. They didn't have the room ready because we were so early for check-in, and then just with the transportation thing, we ended up getting and missing our window for our tour that we had booked for St. Mark's Basilica, which was sad. We did just get to see obviously the outside, but then we had next on the plan, kind of like the docket, we had the bell tower in St. Mark's Square, and so we had about an hour to kill before that, so we just kind of wandered around kind of in the square, and then a little bit past that, you start getting really into kind of the really narrow streets, alleys, kind of, it's all foot traffic, it's all walking and everything, but lots and lots of stores, lots of food places, restaurants, and then we came back, went up to the bell tower, had the most gorgeous view, just 360 view, all four sides of the bell tower, of Venice, which you'll have seen already, and then, so that was amazing, and then we went to the Doge's Palace, and that was amazing. I didn't really know what to expect going into there. I didn't have any kind of knowledge of what the palace looked like or expectations or anything. It was absolutely gorgeous, just the sheer amount of art and artistry that went into decorating each room, and the fact that these paintings are from the 1500s, the paintings and the carvings, the palace, the basic structure of the palace is much, much older than that, but they had explained that there was a fire during the mid-1500s that had kind of wreaked havoc through a bunch of the rooms, so that was there's a lot of renovation that went on during that time, and so a lot of the paintings are from the 1500s, and a lot of the carvings and everything, so that was really amazing. I don't know, it was wild, it was cool. We both really enjoyed it, and then they had the council rooms, and then they had the prison and everything down below, and that was really cool to go through as well. And then after that, we decided to go find something for dinner. We walked a ways, little ways right around the square. When you start branching out into the city past the square, it's super busy, super packed. There's a lot of really, really high-end shops. It was actually kind of surreal to see, you would pass Louis Vuitton, there was Prada, Jimmy Choo, super high-end stores right one after the other, and they were all just all of them clustered in, and the people working there were in suits and everything, and I don't know, I'm just not used to seeing that, and then especially seeing them all in one little one after the other in Italy was really crazy and kind of surreal and awesome. But yeah, the kind of streets, the walkways and everything were super close packed, super tight and narrow, and there was just lots of people, and then we finally kind of broke past that because we ended up going into Jewish section of Venice, and because it was past kind of all of the really high-end shops in the square, it quieted down quite a bit. It was really interesting just like walking through that, and all of a sudden you pop out into like courtyards and everything, and then pop back into a little tangle of alleyways and everything. And it was kind of wild. And then we ate dinner at a place kind of in that district right on kind of the pier. And when we ordered dinner, you all seen the clip, both Kana and I ordered pizza, and they were both under 10 euros. It was like 9 euros and 9.50 euros. So we both thought they were gonna be like, if meant for one person, not like a 12-inch pizza. And they turned out to be like 12-inch pizzas. Needless to say though, we were both hungry enough that we didn't eat neither of us ate the whole pizza that we ordered, but we ate a good majority of it just from all the walking around and everything, and just being tired from being up so early and everything. But yeah, that was our day today. Well, hopefully tomorrow starts out a little smoother in terms of like transportation and everything, now that we kind of know the idea of what we're supposed to be doing. I think tomorrow we have the Guggenheim, and then I don't remember what we're doing in the afternoon, so you will find out in the next few clips. Again, it has been our second full day in Venice, Italy. We had a ton of fun. It was really great. We definitely felt a lot more comfortable with public transportation today. Not that we have it down 100% pat, but we definitely at least understand kind of the whole process now that we've done it a few times. Today we started out at the Peggy Guggenheim Art Museum Gallery. Peggy Guggenheim was an American heiress during the early 1900s. She lived for quite a long time in Venice and collected a huge host of art pieces. She was kind of a big sponsor for a lot of artists, and so after she died, the kind of Peggy Guggenheim Foundation was created from kind of what she kind of left behind, and they turned her house into an art gallery to display everything that she had collected, as well as several pieces that have been donated to the foundation since she passed away. There's also a big kind of section of the gallery devoted to Bacci. He was one of the He's kind of the main Venetian artist that Peggy Guggenheim sponsored. A lot of the art, it's all from, I would say, between 1900s and 1960, or 1900 and 1960. She was big on like the current century art and kind of artists that were alive and producing while she was alive. So it was a lot of like abstract art and some kind of like creepy, strange art, which is a lot of fun. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. I think Connor really liked it as well. And then after that, we went kind of wandering around in search of lunch. We found a little sandwich shop, got sandwiches there, and then sat right along the edge of the canal, just kind of on the side, and ate there. We were warned to be very careful because the seagulls will come and snatch people's sandwiches from them. But rest assured, no sandwiches were snatched from either of us. And then after that, we went just kind of like a hop across one of the main canals over to a little island that houses San Giorgio's Abbey. The island was gifted to kind of the abbey and the church to house the abbey back in the 900s. And so we went through the church and then up through into the bell tower for another absolutely gorgeous bird's eye view of Venice. It was just as amazing as the other bell tower that we got to see Venice from. So we went through there, and then after that, we went in search of gelato, and the line was pretty long, but it was definitely worth it. It didn't take that long to get through the line, but it was really good. It was delicious. I think I had like a mint, a cookies and cream, and some sort of coffee. And Connor had a tiramisu and something else. I don't remember. But it was delicious. We also grabbed kind of like just a little bit of pizza from a different restaurant, kind of shop place thing. I have been curious about going to a bookstore, however, I have realized because the fluency of English is so low here, everything's going to be in Italian. I'm not going to really be able to get any English translated works here, as much as I would love to get Italian literature in Italy. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think if I want to do that, I'm just gonna have to do it on my own time, kind of when I'm back home, order it online or find it, at Barnes & Noble or whatever, but that's okay. I got my Dutch literature in the Netherlands, and I'm enjoying the rest of Italy, the rest of Venice, I should say, minus the kind of book side of it, and that is okay. But anyway, tomorrow we've got the Murano Islands. There's 3 of them. We're gonna kind of just hop around and explore those, and that is the plan for tomorrow. last full day in Venice, and we spent the day exploring the 3 other kind of smaller sub-islands that are still part of Venice. It's Murano, Burano, and Torcello. We went to Murano first. That island is known for its glass making, and then it's also known for, it has a basilica that is said to have the bones of a slain dragon kind of inside it or beneath it. Unfortunately, we weren't really able to go into the church. We didn't think about how it's Sunday, and so they had a service going on. And we didn't want to interrupt that. We got to see the outside, which was fun. And then we just kind of, each island had a museum kind of dedicated to what it's most known for. So Murano had a glass blowing, glass goods museum, and we just kind of decided not to go to any of them today. We just wanted to spend the day just kind of roaming around the island and eating good food. We had lots of good food today. But on Murano, I did end up picking up this pretty glass bracelet to kind of just commemorate lots of shops selling glass goods. Kind of Connor and I were just expecting it to be kind of like clear glass goblets, and instead everything was super colorful, just lots of little trinkets, jewelry. There was dishware. It was very pretty. And then after that we went to Burano, which was my favorite island of the 3. Burano is known for lace making. Also, it's very, very colorful buildings, which you'll have seen in the clips earlier. All of those colorful buildings were on that island. Absolutely amazing. Just kind of wandering around there in amongst this rainbow of buildings. And I also got a pretty lace bookmark. I don't know if you can kind of see, it's a guy on a little gondola, and it says Venetia on it, but to kind of commemorate, since I couldn't get any kind of Italian literature, there is the bookmark, and then that is kind of something that I was wanting to get from each place. So from Netherlands I got the Van Gogh bookmarks, and now from Italy I got a lace bookmark for Venice, and so that was exciting, that was fun. And then after that we went to Torcello, and that one has the throne of Attila the Hun on it. It also has another kind of really big church. Again, the church is mostly a museum, so we didn't really go too far into there, but we did get to see Attila the Hun's throne. They actually let people sit on it, which I was surprised by, but it's just kind of a stone chair, but it's cool to think that it was his throne. So that was what we did today. Also, we had gelato again. I didn't get a clip of it, and I think this gelato beat out the gelato that we had yesterday. I don't know if it's just the flavors. Oh, I also had, we ordered at a restaurant. We ordered enough food that would have been in the US over $100 for both the quality and kind of just what we got. It would have definitely been an over $100 meal in the US, and it was like $54 or 54 euros here, which equates to about $54. It was insane. We got an appetizer. I got a grilled fish, which ended up being just the entire fish, skin, bone, head, tail, everything, which is grilled. It was delicious. It's a good reminder that what I'm eating was a creature before. I've never really ate anything like that before, but it was very good. And then Connor got like a cuttlefish spaghetti, which was really good, and then we split a tiramisu after that, and then I had a cappuccino and he had an espresso, and all of that was 54 euros, which was insane that it was that cheap, which is why we kind of went all out on that meal, because we did want to do that once while we were here, and it was definitely worth it. It's so good.
That's all you had to say about the tiramisu?
Oh, the tiramisu was like literally the best tiramisu we've ever had. Connor is obsessed with tiramisu. It's like his favorite dessert ever, so he's been trying to get it like as many times as he can while we're here, and I thought he was about to die with how good it was. And now tiramisu is ruined for him forever when we go back to the States. But it was so good. So I am gonna end this vlog here because, and it kind of works out really well. Tomorrow we're heading back to the Netherlands, but it's Sunday, so it's been an entire week of our trip so far. We have another entire week coming up, but with how much I talk during each update, I figured I need to do this in 2 parts, so I'm going to end this part here. If you want to check out the rest of our trip when we head back to the Netherlands, make sure to kind of keep your eye out for part 2 when that comes out, or if it's already out by the time you watch this. Check it out. The first stop back in the Netherlands, we're headed back to Amsterdam. We're gonna go to the red light district. Connor and I are both a bit nervous for that, but we're there and it's a big part of Amsterdam, so we're gonna check it out. We won't be filming any of it for obvious reasons, but there is a museum that we're gonna try to go to. I don't know, our flight kind of got moved around a bit, so it's gonna make it difficult for us to make it to the museum, but we're gonna try really hard to. That'll be the first thing that we're doing once we're back in the Netherlands, and then we are also going to Lies, Utrecht, Keukenhof, and Rotterdam all next week. So spreading out throughout the Netherlands and expanding past Amsterdam. So definitely check out the next vlog if you want to see that stuff, hear about it. But thank you so much for watching this. I hope you consider sticking around and subscribing if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!